Imagine you're a character in a video game. Not playing one, being one. You have memories. You have feelings. You wake up every morning and your life feels completely real. And you have absolutely no way to prove you're not wrong about that. That's not a thought experiment. That's a serious scientific argument. And in 2003, a philosopher at Oxford ran the numbers and published what might be the most disturbing paper in modern history. His name is Nick Bostrom, and what he proved is this. At least one of three things must be true. Two of them are terrifying. The third one might be worse. Here's the first option. Every civilization that reaches our level of technology, every single one in the history of the universe, destroys itself before it ever gets advanced enough to simulate minds. Nuclear war, artificial intelligence, bioweapons, climate collapse. Something always gets them. The universe is a graveyard of almost civilizations that never made it. And we're next. If that's true, we're real. But we're also running out of time. Here's the second option. Advanced civilizations do survive. They reach the point where they could simulate entire worlds with conscious beings inside them. And then every single one of them decides not to. Some universal law, ethical, legal, technical, stops them all. Every one, no exceptions, forever. If you know anything about human history, you know how likely that is. Which leaves the third option. And this is the one Bostrom actually thinks is probably true. Advanced civilizations run simulations. Lots of them. Maybe thousands. Maybe millions. And here's where the math gets brutal. If even one civilization runs 1 million ancestor simulations, each with billions of conscious minds inside, the number of simulated beings in the universe outnumbers real ones by a ratio that makes the stars look countable. So if you're a conscious mind asking where you are, the honest answer, statistically, is almost certainly inside a simulation. Now you could write this off as philosophy, a thought experiment with no real evidence. But here's the thing. Our universe behaves exactly the way you'd expect a simulation to behave. There's a speed limit built into reality. Nothing can travel faster than light. In a natural universe, why would that exist? In a simulation, it makes perfect sense. That's just the frame rate, the processing cap. The engine can't go faster. Then there's quantum mechanics. Particles don't have a fixed position until you actually observe them. Before you look, they exist as a cloud of probabilities, everywhere at once. The moment you look, they snap to one location. Physicists have been arguing about why for 100 years, but programmers know exactly what this is. Lazy rendering. Don't calculate what nobody's watching. Save processing power for what actually matters. And then there's the Planck length, the smallest possible measurement in the universe. Below this scale, space itself stops being smooth. It becomes granular, pixelated, like you zoomed in too far on a digital image and hit the resolution limit. A team of physicists actually found anomalies in cosmic ray patterns, signals that match what you'd expect to see if space was running on a three-dimensional grid. They weren't claiming proof. They were saying, if we were in a simulation, this is exactly what we'd find. And we found it. Then there's quantum entanglement. Two particles, separated by any distance, could be opposite ends of the universe, instantly affect each other. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, and spent years trying to disprove it. He couldn't. The best explanation physicists have today isn't that they're sending signals. It's that they're the same object, accessed from two different points in the code. So let's say it's true. Let's say we're in a simulation. Who built it? Maybe a research team trying to model how civilizations evolve? Maybe a company. Maybe a student running an experiment for their thesis. Maybe it started as a project, and whoever built it just forgot it was still running. We have no way to know. And here's what really gets to you. It might be simulations all the way down. The civilization that built our simulation might be inside a simulation themselves. And theirs too. No base reality, no original universe, just an infinite stack of nested worlds, each one completely convinced it's the real one. Now, before you spiral, here's what this actually means for you. If you're in a simulation, your pain is still real. Your love is still real. Your choices still matter. Because whoever built this made the experience matter. The joy, the loss, the connection, those aren't fake. They're the whole point. You weren't put here by accident. There was intention, design. Someone set the parameters and chose to make the inside of this thing feel like something. And that might be more meaningful, not less.
Think about consciousness for a second.
Every thought you have right now, every memory, every feeling, every moment of awareness. If this is a simulation, all of that is being computed, calculated, processed. And yet it feels like something. It feels like you. The question philosophers have wrestled with for centuries, why does experience feel like anything at all, has a completely different answer if we're simulated. The experience was designed. Someone decided that the minds inside this thing should feel, should suffer, should love, should wonder, and they built that in deliberately. Think about what that means for every hard moment you've ever had, for every loss, for every time you asked why. It wasn't random. It wasn't accidental physics. It was a choice made by whoever is running this. That could be devastating, or it could be the most comforting thought in the world, because it means nothing about your life has been wasted. Every experience you've had, good or bad, was part of something intentional. And somewhere, outside the walls of this simulation, something is watching. And it chose to give you the capacity to figure all of this out. That's either the cruelest joke in the universe or the greatest gift. Maybe both. But here is what does change. Everything we thought was fundamental, space, time, matter, energy, might just be the render layer, the display. What's actually underneath it, we can't touch. We can't access it. We're running inside it. And that question, what is real, stops being philosophy. It becomes physics. It becomes an engineering problem with a testable answer. Scientists are already searching for glitches, looking for repeating patterns in cosmic background radiation, searching for grid signatures in the structure of space-time. If this universe runs on something, it has a fingerprint. And we might be closer to finding it than most people realize. Think about what that would mean. We are the first generation in human history, maybe the first in the history of this universe, with the tools to actually test whether reality is real. That has never been possible before, ever, in any civilization, real or simulated. 3 possibilities. 1 must be true. And the one that requires the fewest assumptions, the simplest explanation, is that you are inside a simulation right now. You are probably not real. And here is the part that should stay with you. You are also part of the only civilization that ever sat down, ran the numbers, and figured that out. The simulation is running. You are in it. You are aware of it. And now you have to decide what to do with that. Most people won't. Most people will forget about this in an hour and go back to whatever they were doing. But some people, the ones who really let this land, those are the ones who start asking the only question that has ever actually mattered. If none of this is guaranteed to be real, then what are you going to do with the time you have?